WNST, Taos Fast with the $1 coffee, and Justin Tucker singing away, as well as our friends at Sporticulture with the beautiful flowers, and they smell lovely today as well. You can order them and ship them anywhere on the internet by going to Sporticulture, and they are grown locally but shipped everywhere by my pal Court on the web. This guy's out on the web in Denver, Colorado. I saw him in the press box about 15 feet to my left on Sunday. He's been covering the Denver Broncos for a long, long time out there with the Rocky Mountain High. He's seen the good times and the bad times. He does it for 9 News in Denver, Colorado. We welcome Mike Klis back onto the program. You can follow him out on Twitter at Mike Klis. Rhymes with Kiss. It's spelled K-L-I-S. Mike, tough times for the Broncos, right? I don't know that this is the best version we've seen of the Broncos, and certainly a road game where they were spotted a nice little lead in the beginning of the game on a nice play. But rough sledding on Sunday afternoon for the Broncos here in Baltimore.
Yeah, by the way, I think you mentioned Justin Tucker. They need to do a reverse Deflategate investigation. I think the Ravens brought out wet bricks for Marquette King when he was punting. I'm not sure what those things were, but yeah, that's it's funny how a team went from 2-0 to 0-0 in a hurry. That was it's hard to lose when you block 2 kicks, and on the reverse, it's hard to win when you allow 2 block kicks. But the Ravens managed it. Broncos just that was one unfortunate display of undisciplined play. 13 penalties for 205 yards. Nestor, I figured out that penalties had an impact of potentially up to 38 points in that game. Either given the Ravens points, Derek Wolfe offside kept a drive going, and 11 plays later the Ravens scored, or took points away from the Broncos. Most notably, the Chris Harris return on the field goal for a touchdown that was called back, and the Broncos wound up having to punt that possession away. So penalties were definitely the story for the Broncos. Case Keenum did not play his best game. In fact, I would say it was his least best game, to put it as positively as possible. Now they got next Monday night, they got the Kansas City Chiefs, so a big test and concern for the Broncos.
Well, you mentioned all the penalties. I mean, the one penalty that wasn't called was the crazy leverage penalty on the block kick, running through the line of scrimmage. I think everybody on the Ravens sideline still looking at the video saying, how did that not get called, especially when the guy blocked the kick?
Yeah, talk to Justin Simmons about that, and the rule is if you start from the line of scrimmage, you can make the jump. And you get 1 yard. You get to be within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, and the officials either missed it or thought that he was within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage for that play. So that's why they allowed it. Justin Simmons was one reason why they made the rule in the first place. He had a terrific leap over the line and blocked the extra point a couple of years ago at New Orleans that won the game for the Broncos when it was returned for a 2-point conversion. But that's the explanation I got, is he was at the line of scrimmage, and if you're at the line and you're athletic enough, you can make the leap, and so they allowed it.
It's going to be a long time for them with Adam Jones and Tremaine Brock out trying to cover, right? I mean, Flacco picked them apart. They worked the passing game. They didn't abandon the running game, but when they wanted to go to the running game at the end, they really couldn't in order to move the ball. You lose 2 guys in your secondary like that, it makes for a long day against a team that wants to pass at home, right?
Yeah, I mean, they had Flacco's not that mobile, and the Broncos have a big pass rush. But Flacco and their offensive game plan, they did a really good job. They were able to throw the ball deep but quick, which is hard to do. But they did it down the sidelines with John Brown, and they picked on the rookie a couple times, Isaac Yiadom, who came in for Adam Jones and Tremaine Brock. Adam Jones is going to be 35, I think, this week in about 5 days, and Tremaine Brock is 30. And here it is, week 3, and both of them already go down with game-missing soft tissue injuries. That's not good. Isaac Yiadom, they were hoping for the second half of the season to start playing him at the number 3 corner. I think John Elway's going to have to go out and get another cornerback here. With Patrick Mahomes coming up next, who's only the hottest quarterback in ever, they're going to need some cornerback help. And of course, it's not like Champ Bailey circa 2005 is out there. The only guys that are out there are those who are struggling. So the Broncos are in a tough spot in their secondary, no doubt.
Mike Klis covers all things Denver Broncos out in the Rocky Mountain region for 9 News. You can follow him out on Twitter at Mike Klis. That's Klis. And we'll give a retweet out as well. For Case Keenum and your thoughts about this quarterback thing, we had the revolving door around here. Coach Billick always says, who's our partner, is one of the reasons he's in the booth now is he didn't have the quarterback and the revolving door. I don't think anybody in Denver believed Case Keenum was the next coming of Tom Brady, but I don't know what you expected that you were getting from him and what the expectations were and how Elway selected him. This really is a factor of missing on Paxton Lynch, right?
Yes. I was expecting a little more than what Case Keenum showed yesterday. It was, I think, I give Wink Martindale some credit. I think he really mixed up the coverages on Keenum. Keenum hung on to the ball much longer than he has. He had been getting rid of the ball quick. And that didn't happen yesterday. And while the protection broke down, especially at left tackle, as Terrell Suggs will do to left tackles, he still was hanging on to the ball. I don't know if he was trying to make plays. His 6-footness was a factor with 2 or 3 batted balls. And then they, Wink really mixed up the pressures. I think there was one series where he brought pressure on every play. Tip of the cap to Martindale and the plan he had. They basically only gave up the 1 touchdown scoring drive. The other one is on the special teams. But Keenum has looked better than what he did in that game. He had, again, 2 fourth-quarter drives. But neither one worked out. Penalties killed one of them, and his interception that probably should have been a pick 6, ended the other drive. So, Case Keenum is here because Paxton Lynch did not work out, and it'll be interesting. Keenum has to start playing better, that's for sure. Or the Broncos have to go out and get a young quarterback next year.
Oh, it needs reliable receivers as well, right? And you mentioned the pressure and the coverage sacks going on because guys weren't getting open, amongst other things. But I'm not in love with the receiving core there, and I'm used to seeing that sort of thing from the Ravens side the last couple of years, which has been a big problem around here.
Well, the receiving core of the Broncos, most people would say that's the strength of the offense. Demaryius Thomas was coming off a couple of bad games, but he played well against the Ravens. Emmanuel Sanders is having a really nice year so far. And they got to bring along Cortland Sutton. They're playing him a lot. He had 53 snaps yesterday, and he had 54 the week before. So he's playing just as much as Sanders and Thomas, but the production hasn't been there. They have to bring him along. The number 4 receiver, Deshaun Hamilton, they like him, but he doesn't have a catch yet through 3 games. So I think they need to start working the 3 and 4 receivers, which helps the 1 and 2 receivers get open. I think, again, Martindale probably took away, from that Rex Ryan School of Defense, he took away the Broncos' best players and made you beat them with the backups or the not as good players, and it worked yesterday or Sunday against the Broncos.
Mike Klis joining us here from Denver and 9 News. All of our WNST Intelligent Conversations brought to you by our friends at the Modell Lyric. John Cusack and the screening of Say Anything has been moved to later in the month. Steely Dan is still happening on October 11th. Also got John Mayer down there doing a benefit. John Mellencamp on the slate as well. Learn more. There's magic at the Modell Lyric. Find them at modell-lyric.com. Also brought to you by our friends at the Lee Tessier team, Baltimore's premier realty team, and the people I trust with my real estate transactions. Over 50 years of experience helping local buyers and sellers just like you locating the finest properties and negotiating the best deals. Find them at leetessier.com. Mike, for you watching the Ravens and you talk about Mahomes in Kansas City, we're going to see Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers up there in Pittsburgh next week. We're trying to figure out who the good teams and the bad teams are. Assess the Ravens for me and what you were expecting. Certainly you watched the Cincinnati game on Thursday night on the road. They fell behind 3 touchdowns. I like this version of the Ravens. I'm sort of bullish on the Ravens winning 10 or 11 games, and it does do my heart well that the Patriots aren't the Patriots. The Steelers don't look like the Steelers, and even seeing traditional powerhouses like Denver not look to be the part. It feels like the balance is a little out of whack in the AFC, and some teams are going to have an opportunity this year that they haven't had during the Tom Brady era.
Yeah, I agree. I went into this game not sure who the Ravens were. I went into this game not sure who the Broncos were. I thought that the game Sunday was going to be a good barometer for both teams, and I was impressed with the Ravens. I do think they're a playoff team now. Flacco, I think a lot of people were selling off their Flacco stock the last couple of years. He looks good again, and he's key. Their running game isn't great. The Ravens' running game is not great. John Brown has helped, and Crabtree has helped the receiving game. What's the situation with Hurst, the tight end?
Well, I mean, a couple more weeks is what they're talking on him, and Flacco was in love with him during the preseason. That's a real X factor and something that's missing. And hey, defensively, we played without Mosley, we played without Jimmy Smith. We usually lose those kind of games. We have $10 million players who aren't on the field. We don't win.
Yeah, I thought without Mosley, the Broncos had a real chance Sunday against the Ravens, and the Ravens took it to them. I tell you, they got a lot of speed. Here's what's underrated about the Ravens. They got a lot of speed in that front seven. There's some concern, that Weddle is 33, but he's so smart. And, I saw him make an adjustment on with another player, I think a linebacker. And that wound up being a incomplete, well-covered play.
Well, you saw a lot of Weddle back in the day. I mean, you're more familiar with him than we are in San Diego, right?
Yeah. And Carr. It looked like the Broncos went after Carr a little bit, but that front seven has really got some speed, and looks like. And I was impressed with the offensive line. Von Miller didn't get very close to a sack on Sunday, so. That was surprising. I thought Miller would be a big factor, but they look good. And Nestor, I have to get running.
Appreciate your time,
now.
Mike. Hey, I tell you what, man, it's great seeing you in Baltimore, and we'll see you out there in Denver sometime soon.
All right.
There he goes, Mike Klis joining us here from 9 News in Denver. You can find him out at Mike Klis, Klis, out on Twitter. You can find me in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. Our morning newspaper ships digitally to your email inbox free of charge, and all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Jockey Club and Laurel. They're making it happen this weekend down there and every weekend. They got the Turf Cup and, of course, the Maryland Million coming your way on October 20th. And don't forget Planet Fitness and Brick Bodies also hosting the John W. Brick Foundation 5K. That happens on my 50th birthday on October the 14th. That's happening up in Timonium. You can learn more at jwb5k.com. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, anywhere the World Wide Web takes you. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.